I said there is the ideal, the fact, and the truth. These are the three things that basically exist in life: the ideal, the fact, and the truth. So, can anyone help us see difference between the three? What's the difference between the ideal, the fact, and the truth?
Yeah. So we should differentiate between the ideal, fact, and the truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you say something's ideal, well, I believe we term something as ideal from a generalized point of view that, okay, this is how things should be done, or this is the ideal way of doing things, or the appropriate way to do something. That's what we call ideal. It necessarily might not be the best way, or the what I call it, might not be the best way to approach such a thing, but it is like the generally accepted way, you understand, that most people follow or have tried out or have tested, you understand. That's what they call it ideal. So it is mostly termed by what others have, what others, experiences of others, and what others have followed, you understand. That's when you call it ideal. That, okay, they have tried it out, okay, I think this is the result they got from it and all, and it's the ideal way to follow, you understand. Then when you now talk about facts, fact just means that it's proven, you understand. It was proven beyond reasonable doubt that, okay, this is the right thing, you understand. Proven beyond reasonable doubt that this is right. You have backups, you have proofs, you have evidences to show that this is right, you understand. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So that's fact. It has been established that, okay, this is true, or this is the right thing, you understand. That's a fact. So when you can prove beyond doubt, beyond to a large extent with evidences, then you can term something as a fact. Then fact and truth are different in such a way that something can be termed as a fact and not be the truth. You ask me why. For example, if a lawyer, if you're in a law court, you understand, and you have the plaintiff, and then the person that is being accused, or I don't know the term now.
Yeah.
We have two sides in the law court, you understand. Now, both lawyers will come up with facts to prove that what they are saying is the truth. But we all know that there's just one truth. You understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that both lawyers come with their facts and figures, or with their evidences, is just a pointer that, okay, they are trying to prove that, okay, they are the one that should be believed to be saying the truth, you understand.
Yeah.
So that both of them have facts doesn't mean that the truth is being spoken from the both perspective, from the both lawyers, you understand. But the person that pushes his points well, pushes his facts well, and what I call it, and is more what I call it, outspoken, or with confidence, you understand, is the one that will be accepted, or will be granted will be aired, you understand, will be aired out, and will be accepted as saying the truth or saying the fact. You know? So truth and fact are not necessarily the same sometimes. You understand? They might not necessarily be the same sometimes. The most important is that a fact can be made to be true. You understand? A fact can be believed to be the truth, but sometimes the truth might not be the fact.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yes.
So that's it.
All right. Thank you. Who's adding something to that? Blessing, are you there? Favor, open your voice.
I think ideal fact and truth. Ideal, if we say something is ideal, it doesn't necessarily have to be right. It just means that is what we think it should be. So give me a minute. Okay, so it just means that's what we think it should be. I'll give an example. If somebody's been shot, with a gun, we can say I think the person will die now.
If the person is being shot with a gun, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can say I think the person will die. Or maybe the person will be shot in the stomach. You can say I think the person supposed to die. But it is not something that is true. It is not something that we believe it should be. Now, truth, it is something that is correct. It is just correct. We might not necessarily have a way to prove it. You get? We might not necessarily have a way to prove it. And it is until it is proven that it becomes a fact. That's why people say fact and figures. Because fact always comes with a figure, a number, a chart pattern, a graph, a correlation, what sometimes a pathway. That okay, once you do it this way, this is the end result. That's the fact. You get? People will say, okay, people die every year and people give birth every year. That's the truth now, shit. But it is until the number is given or the percentage is given, that is when you now add the facts. Shit. Because you can say, okay, people die every day now. That one number two. Now is the truth. Everybody knows that people die every day. But you cannot give us the numbers of people that died every day. That means what you are saying is not fact. It is just the truth. It is the numbers or the charts or the graph that you present that make your statement a factual statement. No, I believe it's just something that we just believe or that we just think is right. That's my 2 cents. People will say, that people will say, that has been some people's truth. Because they could not prove it, so it is their truth. But now that people has not proven it, that statement now, they don't nullify them. I mean, in the scientific society. But for our Baba and Mama, it's still true. But because they could not prove it, but now when people don't prove it now, say they sabi how the thing entered coconut, that one is a fact that one of them will not know. Why some people believe or still hold the truth that don't will not know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, we are getting somewhere. Making sense. Okay. Favor, are you there? Blessing, we have not heard from you. AYB, you met us well.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
So, difference between ideal, fact, and truth. Hmm?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Did you get the question?
Yes, you're asking about truth, fact, and ideal, right?
An ideal, yes.
Okay, so let me add my own thoughts to it. This thing is just like I don't know what we used to call this thing in biology again. Is it no scientific requirement or something like that? Where we have hypotheses, experiment, law, and everything like that. So
Yeah.
to me, I would say ideal is like a common belief.
Okay.
Just like what people believe that, yeah, this thing is the right thing to do. It might not be the right thing, but based on their belief, based on what the majority of people believe that, yeah, let's just follow this thing and then we are going to arrive at this result. So that's what I do it for me. Now, talking about fact, fact is like basis of truth, like evidences gathered before you can ascertain that, yeah, this thing is real, this thing is certain. So that's fact for me. Let's say now you want to carry out some experiment and then maybe you are working towards a research. Before they can accept that research from you, that's to go through some certain stages where a lot of people will work on your research. They will work on it, you yourself will work on it. When you get to a certain stage, you are going to leave that research to some people where they will continue the research. They are going to do some how do I put it? They are going to do some other things on it too. Okay, this thing you are working on, maybe you are working on the potential drug, on a potential remedy. So they are going to test it their own way to do, okay, this thing is real. So that's like fact. They are trying to make sure that you are trying to gather evidence to convince people that, yeah, this thing is true. So once you have the facts, it's like that is just like a basis of the truth. Okay, and then that truth is just like law. Before you can say something is a law, maybe physics, chemistry, biology, before you can ascertain that something is a law, it must pass through experiment stage and then hypothesis. There will be some written down rules to guide it. So the written down rules, that's the fact, and then the truth, that's the law that will be at the end of your research or experiment. That's my own quota.
Okay. Thank you. You took us the scientific field. Interesting. AYB, over to you. Sure.
Yeah, so meaning of ideal, truth. Like Favor said, ideal is, and when you say something is ideal, is an imagined state, not perfect, an imagined state of perfection. For ideal. Ideal is something people think, something they hope they want something to be. That's the meaning of ideal. For truth is like the act, like saying something that is factual or accurate. But at times, truth might be tainted, might be slight, it might not be 100%. And fact no matter what happens, fact is always 100% accurate. Fact does not care about point of view or about any slight or about any bias. Fact is 100% accurate and has no bias. The truth sometimes might have some bias. Let's assume 3 people witness an accident from 3 different point of views. If they all give you statements, they are the truth according to what they saw, or according to what they saw. You and you have, let's say, maybe you have a CCTV at a very, very nice angle that is seeing 100% everything. You see that whenever you like cross-check the statements and the video footage you have, there will still be some slight bias in the statements. Why? Only the video evidence will give you 100% accurate information about what happened there. So that's what I have to say.
Okay. Interesting. I'm liking as all of this is coming from different angles. Blessing.
Everybody has said everything. And what everybody said is correct.
Say your own.
I actually don't know what to say. The one thing I know is and okay, let me start from facts. Fact is something you cannot argue. It has been verified over and over again. She gets. I think there's a lot of similarities between facts and truth. But I think truth is more personal. Like truth is based on your own judgment. The fact is based on consistent truth. She gets. For example, now let me go the chemical with that film started. For example, now it is a fact that water is H2O. It has been proven, not by one person, not by 2 person, not by 3 people. It has been proven. Tomorrow I can come up to say water is HCl. That is my own personal truth. It's not a fact. Until the truth has been established multiple times by multiple people in different instances.
Are you far from your phone?
Sorry, I'm in the lab, that's why I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
It's better now.
So I said until a truth has been proven multiple times, it is not going to be established as a fact. I can come up tomorrow and say water is not H2O, water is HCl. That is my own truth. And until that truth is being seen by different people, different seasons, we can find, Blessing said water is HCl. Later said water is HCl. That said water is HCl. Everybody are testing and saying, okay, fine, this is my perspective, this is what I did. This is how I did it, and I said water is HCl. You see, there are some facts that they have been, should I say, disbanded over time. Why? Because verifiable truths by different people have also come up. I'm trying to think of examples. But you know, for example, now they can tell you then that they can say, Jesus. But I know you understand what I mean. Let me give you an example. All right, thank you. For example, when we were in secondary school, I'd be primary school then, we used to believe that beans is more of protein than carbohydrates. I don't know if you know that.
Not be more of beans is protein. We believe that beans is
beans is protein, sorry. We used to believe that beans is protein. You understand? Mm-hmm. We used to believe that beans is protein. But now, there are verifiable truths that shows that beans is not totally protein. You understand? Yeah. So That's one example.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much for that. So that I hope I'm free like this now. And I think ideal. The word ideal is to me, ideal is standard. Like ideal is it's just standard. I think that word for ideal for me is standard. For example, you say everybody should be treated fairly. It's a standard. There is an ideal stuff. Sure you get. So that's what I'm going to say about the three words, the three concepts.
Okay. I just like some of the examples you all have given, and it's interesting to see that to a large extent we all are on the same path. I mean, our understanding of what this thing is or what these things are very close. When you look at the truth, the ideal, the fact, you can see how closely related they are, but yet very distinct. So, I would like to put it this way, and without disproving anything that anybody has said here. Now, let's take it a little further and let's apply it to our life. Because, like I said, there is every word, every meaning should have context. So that is after you have understand a word plainly in its purest form, it's important that you now add context to it for it to give you what it truly means. Now let's see the example of the law, the hypothesis that Favor gave, and see the story about everybody dies every year or stuff that Glitters gave. When you look at some of those things as proven as they are, you still see how some of those information seem to lack a major part of the other. But the context you give to it helps us to see how true what you are saying actually is, beyond what the word in itself now means. So now let's take this into our lives, and I will say it this way. Just a way to let us see how much we have to do for ourselves. We started from the fact that there is no road anywhere except where people put it. And now I'm saying there is the ideal, there is the fact, and there is the truth. And this is what I think when it comes to our lives. The truth, like Blessed said, is personal. And the truth is always a possibility. The fact is the present or the reality. And the ideal is what something should be or what it should be. And I will still give some other words to make up for that. For instance, with what you have seen, it does not matter what anybody is coming to say your name is. Before anybody can convince you against the name you have been bearing since you were small, your name has been blessing from maybe, in fact, you didn't know when they named you. You grew up to know that is your name.
No, I know when they name you.
Really?
I know though.
How old were you when you were named?
I was 7 days.
You were 7 days. What did you eat that day? Who was the pastor? What was the color of the pastor's dress?
The pastor was Reverend Essie Adekule.
So So it goes this way to say that if somebody somehow, let's say somebody now comes who by the reason of understanding, exposure and whatever it is sees that your name is Stephen, which is now supposed to be the truth, right? But over the time you have known yourself to be blessing, and even now on your certificate and everything is blessing. What's the possibility that, or the probability that you're going to believe that person over the names that you have been bearing over the time? Considering the fact that the person is not even your parent, not even your uncle, and he's saying your name is Stephen, you most likely are going to say he doesn't know what he's saying. But that's not even where I'm going. Where I'm going is where it gets interesting, that says your truth is actually personal. And I said truth is always a possibility. That is, the truth is you can be better than this. The truth is you can be bigger than this. The truth is you can be richer than this. The truth is you can be wealthier than this. The truth is you can be the first in your family to do something great. You can be the first in Nigeria to do something great in certain field and aspect. The truth is, in your church, you can be the first person to say this and this we don't do, this and this we do. The truth is always a possibility. And that's why there is no end to the finding of the truth. Because there is always more. The truth is always a possibility. The truth is you can finish that course carrying the first class. The truth is you can be the best in that class. The truth is everybody in that class can start consulting with you. Now let's look at the fact. The fact is current reality, what is happening at the moment. The future has no fact. If we talk about fact at all, it has everything to do with now and in the past. So now look at it. The truth is that you can be the richest man in Africa. But the fact now is you have less than 10,000 naira in your account. Right? The truth is you can own your own private jets. But now the fact is you don't even have a bicycle. So the fact speaks of reality, speaks of the present, speaks of what is seen, speaks of what is proven. But the truth speaks of the future, speaks of possibilities. So I want us to look at it from that angle because of the things that we have to do with our lives. And so if you are able to see the truth, then your drive is sparked. The need to do more, the reason to do more, the reason to achieve more, the need to grow more. But the ideal, like you said, I simply put, is people's expectation of you. What people think it should be. Ideal scenario. But the question is, how many times have we seen anybody truly living the ideal life or doing something ideal? It rarely happens, if it happens at all. And some of the calculations, some of the analysis we did in class, either chemistry, mathematics, mechanics, any of those courses, even mathematics, you see when they tell you Assuming that is an ideal, and they will tell you in an ideal scenario, this should be this, and then they give you real life example. It's nothing close to it. That's why many times when they give us example in class, we always can solve it. We know the answer, we know the solution, we even know it step by step. Because what they gave us is ideal. So they tell you, assuming you are traveling from here to Lagos, and you take a detour that took you 5 hours, and then you go back to Lagos with this also time. How much did you spend on your transport? All of those examples. And then you're able to calculate it based on what is happening in class, and you go on like that. But they did not remember to put that your tire could burst on the way, armed robbers could be on the way, Fulani men could be on the way, the policeman can decide to delay you for not giving them money. A lot of things in reality, the potholes could be the reason you don't get to your destination. And all of that would happen in a real life scenario. And so, when I say it's supposed to take you 5 hours to get to Lagos, that is ideal. But you that left here for Lagos, you are going to be the one to tell us what the facts are. Because it has happened, you have experienced it. But beyond that is the truth that you can see. That actually, I can get to Lagos in 30 minutes. I can get to Lagos in 15 minutes if my private jet is in place. And you begin to look at those possibilities. And what happens is that truth of what is possible begin to push you in the direction of what you should actually do. And in that process, everything ideal is forgotten because nothing is ever going to go straight as ideal as it should be. So without telling more story, I will just read what I write here and then we wrap it up. The truth is a possibility, something that you can actually reach. The fact is the present, your reality. The ideal is what it should be. And so, I said, we prosper by the truth. How do we become prosperous? It is by the truth. And for those of you who go to church once in a while, you can understand this better with that scripture that says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. It doesn't mean you shall know the facts. That is when you know what is possible with you. It will set you free from the things that are holding you back here. The limitations, the excuses, the ceilings, the things that are holding you back. When you know what is possible with you, you are going to fight those things until they let you go to achieve the things that you want to achieve. We prosper by the truth. We are limited by the facts. And we are troubled by the ideal. You know what that means? When you know what is possible with you, your drive begins to wake up and you want to do more, you want to fight more, you want to achieve more. Because that thing that is possible with you, you want to make it a reality. But we are limited by facts. Because in your course, they tell you nobody in this class has ever gotten a first class. At least because of lecturers, so. You always fail people, everybody always fails this course. That is the fact, because that's what people have seen over the years. And because you see that, you start praying. Lord, if I can just get a D from this course and go, So, to a large extent, we can be limited by the facts. And then we are troubled by the ideal, by people's expectation of us. You are supposed to be rich by 30, by 25. And then by that 20, 30, 25, you are even still figuring out your life that, what am I even supposed to be doing? The ideal, you are supposed to finish school by 25. And that 25 is when you are just applying for admission. We are troubled by the ideal, limited by the fact, but prosper by the truth. And so I said lastly, the truth is what you see to be possible for you. Is like your understanding of what you should aspire to be. And your ideal is people's expectation of you. You should be married at so age. You should go to so school. You should start working at so age. If you are starting a business, you should be rich because you are doing business. Yet it's not a guarantee. And then the fact is what is evident, something that is evident already. And so here is my conclusion. Make the fact your springboard on your journey to the truth without letting the ideal hold you back. And what that means is you have seen what has happened and what has always been happening. When you stand on that, you look and journey towards what is possible with you, and then make sure that people's expectation does not hold you back from getting to the truth. I hope that makes sense this morning. Thank you for coming.